Well, and this may sound counterintuitive, but I would start by looking at who is local news and start to think about the diversity within this country. It just amazes me that here we are in 2023, and mainstream media, as it continues to try to evolve and tries to survive, that it still hasn't gotten the point that this country has changed dramatically, and it needs to reflect that. And I think that would be my top priority in trying to figure out what the media landscape looks like, is how to fund a broad version of America that could be, rather than America media that is. Well, the first thing would definitely be figuring out how to represent all communities. I think about Bob Maynard from so many years ago when he met with the American Society of Newspaper Editors and talked about having a goal. And I think the goal was by the year 2000 of the media representing America. And it came nowhere close to that. And yet the issues have become more pronounced. As the country debates democracy itself, it can't do it without a media that's healthy and representative of what really is America. I think the biggest impact is changing the means of distribution. And this gets really mechanical, but so much of what we do is often its own little universe and left at that. And we need to think about what the conveyance is. How do we get out to people where they can access media, whether it be digital or television or whatever medium we choose? I'm struck by how out of sync we continue to see. For example, I was watching a major television news show this morning, and it had a panel not just of all white people, but the entire panel was men. And I'm thinking, how can that be now? How can that represent the thinking that's going on in this country? And I think reaching out to distinct pockets of communities that says, this is really where the future is headed. Let's build a media around that first, rather than to try to do it later. My hope for the future of journalism is that we reach a point where young Native Americans, or for that matter, any group within America, does not have to explain why it's a story. That there's enough understanding immediately that people recognize the long-term implications of what we do and why, and not have to go through a series of screens to say, oh, this reaches so-and-so, but just to say this is a story for its own purposes. Because I think stories have power and stories matter, and how we tell those stories is of critical importance.